biography. Life of a Karma Yogi, Memoir of a Civil Servant. I acknowledge the valued presence of Dr. Janathan Reddy, IAS retired, former GHMC Commissioner, and Mr. Gopal Krishna, IAS retired. Welcome you, sir. I also acknowledge the valued presence of all the MC Managing Committee members and past presidents of FTCCI. I request Dr. Suresh Kumar Singhal, President of FTCCI and President of HMA Chandrasekhar Garu to please accompany our Chief Guest Dr. Janardhan Reddy Garu onto the dais. I request Senior Vice President of FTCCI Mr. R. Ravi Kumar and Vice President of Rajendra Krishna Prasad to please join the stage. I also request Vice President of FTCCI KK Maheshwari sir to please be seated on the dais. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Suresh Kumar Singhal, President of FTCCI, to please welcome the Chief Guest by presenting a plant. Thank you, sir. I request President of HME K. Chandrasekhar Garu to please present a plant to Dr. Janardhan Reddy, IAS retired, former GHMC Commissioner. Thank you, sir. Let us begin this auspicious occasion with lighting of the lamp. I request dignitaries on the dais to please step forward for the lighting the lamp. I request Secretary of HMA, Mr. A. Devendra Reddy Garu, and Secretary of FTCCI, Srimati Veena, please join for light lamping. We are delighted to inform you that FTCCI is on its 108 years of journey, and since its inception has been proactively working for the benefit of trade, industry members and society at large. We would like to show FTCCI journey captured in a short video. May I now invite Dr. Suresh Kumar Singhal, President of FTCCI, to please welcome the gathering.
Shri M. Gopal Krishna ji, IAS retired. Shri K. Chandrasekhar, President HMA. Shri Srinivaji Ayadevara, past President FTCCI and moderator for the fireside chat. The Senior Vice President and Vice President of FTCCI, the Vice President of HMA, members of the Managing Committee and past Presidents of FTCCI and HMA. Esteemed members of FTCCI and HMA, distinguished guests, press and media. Good evening to all, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege and pleasure to welcome you all to this special occasion, the fireside chat with Shri M. Gopal Krishna ji, IAS retired, on insights from his autobiography, Life of a Karam Yogi. Memoir of a Civil Servant. This book, released on 16th February 2025 by Honorable Chief Minister Shri A. Retd Garu, encapsulates the journey of an extraordinary civil servant who has made a significant impact through his services and thought leadership. I extend my profound gratitude to our chief guest, we are expecting him to join us in a short while, Shri Uttam Kumar Reddy ji, the Minister for Irrigation. We are waiting for him. A special and warm welcome to Shri M. Gopal Krishna ji, IAS retired, whose illustrious career has been an inspiration for many. As both a bureaucrat and an academician, he has significantly contributed to public service and governance. Writings continue to serve as a guiding light for civil servants and professionals alike. At FTCCI, we take great pride in facilitating discussions that promote thought, leadership, and knowledge sharing. Today's fireside chat will not only provide a glimpse into Shri Gopal Krishna ji's Garu remarkable journey, but also offer invaluable lessons on leadership, governance, and public service. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to Shri Srinivaji Ayadevara Garu, past President of FTCCI, for kindly agreeing to be the moderator and engaging in this insightful conversation with Shri Gopal Krishna Garu. Once again, I extend my heartfelt thanks to our distinguished guests, esteemed members, and the media for being a part of this event. Your presence enriches the dialogue and underscores the importance of such meaningful engagements. I am confident that today's discussion will be both insightful and inspiring. Let us now commence this engaging session. Welcome and thank you.
Thank you, sir. Before I invite Dr. B. Janardhan Reddy Garu to address the gathering, a few lines about him. A brief profile. Dr. B. Janardhan Reddy, IAS, Garu is a postgraduate in veterinary science from AP Agricultural University, Hyderabad, and he started his professional career as a technical consultant for poultry. He was inducted into the State Administrative Services as Deputy Collector, later entering into the portals of IAS in 1996. His administrative career, spanning over 3 decades, witnessed a wide spectrum of departments including revenue, rural development, housing, cooperation, education, administration, agriculture, and so on. Sir, we are very delighted to have you here, sir. Thank you for your valuable presence. Sir, we request you to please address the gathering.
Swacha Namaskar and good evening to all of you. Accidental speaker. We will all be like anticipating or frustrated. No. Who is this man? Where from he has come? So in fact, Mr. Sekhar invited me to be in the audience. And in fact, always I like to be in the audience, but most of the time we end up speaking. So I enjoy being in the audience. So first point. And second point, suddenly the opportunity has come to me to talk to you all. I will not take much time. Second. And in fact, I was born in 1963. And Mr. Goapala Krishna joined the service in 1962. So it is a privilege, opportunity, and I'm scared to sit and moderate this session in front of him. And most of you are also very senior citizens, but he is retired. Some people are retired, but they are not tired. And in the entire country also, in fact, I have this vision. When I was district collector Anantapur, some, teachers came, sir, we are getting bored. What to do? We do not know. Our children are in the US. We are getting dollars and we are getting pension also. Nobody is saluting us. Nobody is respecting us. Sir, if you work, you will respect in India. You will be respected. If you are not working, nobody will. You are going to school, therefore school children are saluting you. If you are sitting in your home, who will respect you? So then I said, what do you want to do? No, sir, we want respect. So there is no mandate for a district collector to get respect for somebody. Then I said, your mathematics author is an English teacher, professor and all that. See, in India, and most English medium studying English medium is in Jammu Kashmir. Afterward, Telangana is second. So Andhra is also in that race. But least English knowing people are in our state. Most English medium going school and least English knowing people. So you're all retired English, mathematics. Mathematics also. Every year this Pratham and all that, they do this. 10th class students, the standard of mathematics is third class, standard of English is fourth class, standard of Telugu is fifth class. It comes like this. And then you are saying you are retired. Do you want some money? No, sir. Money, okay. We are having because $1 is equal to 80 rupees. What will we do? Our children are in. Then what do you want? Respect. Okay, respect. We want services. You want respect. I will marry both of you. You choose your schools and colleges nearby your place residences, any hostel, any school, and I will collect you. New education policy also said in India, every student in government schools and colleges, they require extra coaching. Not that they have less intelligence, because they require extra coaching because their absenteeism, physical absenteeism is very, very high in schools and colleges. So you choose school or college, go there after 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock or on Sundays or Saturdays. And what I do is on every 15th August and 26th January, I will felicitate you, give a shawl and then a certificate and a class. So in fact, I used lots of retired persons who had terrific experience and expertise, and most of them, because we just now we were talking in a jocularly, we marry hastily and repent leisurely. So when we are in the service, we always think that is important, it is important, all nuisance we'll do, and after retirement we'll feel we should have served the society. We missed the bus. Then you're not dead, no, you're still alive. Still, a teacher, a professor, an engineer, a revenue officer, who is not useful for society, tell me? Everybody talks about this 8-hour work. Suppose in India, from 1947 onwards, if our teachers, our lecturers, our professors worked for 1 more hour, worked for 2 more hours, because all our farmers, they work for 24 hours. All others work for 24 hours. Businessmen work for 24 hours. Why only for this type of, which was suitable, applicable to other developed country? We are not matured enough at that point of time. So that 8 hours, at least 2 hours, if we had we studied, lot of literacy. You see, in the world, the literacy is 87%, Indian literacy is 77%, Telangana literacy is 67%. And then what sort of things are happening? So all retired persons also, they are not really retired, and they are not tired. They should all contribute. That's what I is so inspiring. And second, my association is Miss Gopal Krishna. I was working in Karimnagar as project director, rural development agency. And when I was transferred from Hyderabad to Karimnagar, the Mr. Principal Secretary, Mr. Danam said, "Oh, sorry, Mr. Reddy. Why, sir? There are only 22 rural districts in the state. Karimnagar is the last in IRDP, and 23rd is Hyderabad. So you are going to such a district, you will lose your name and fame." Then I said, "Sir, if 22nd district only, if I go, I'll do something." Within 10 months, I got it to the top of the country. And then I was loving people. I wanted to be in the district. People want Hyderabad, but I never wanted to be Hyderabad. So at that point of time, Gopala Krishna sir was in around 99 2000. He was heading this public enterprises. So he asked the chief minister, "I want Mr. Janardhan Reddy." So suddenly transfer order came. Mr. Ray was our principal secretary. Transfer order came. I thought as if I am suspended from the service. Not that I don't like him. He doesn't like him. He likes me, therefore he got me there. But I wanted to work with the people and not with with urban people. So then I came. I went to the CM office. No, 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 sir. I don't want to do. I don't want Hyderabad. I cannot work in Hyderabad. I dislike cities. I want rural development. So somehow it was temporarily kept on hold. Then Mr. Vijay Gopal Reddy just now. Where is he? Yes. So I was in Karimnagar. I scripted a small playlet this on water conservation. The point is, Anna Hazare says, if a man with thick hair like him, if you put some 4 5 drops of coconut, it sticks there. And most of us are bald heads. If you put these 5 6, then they drop. Then he said, you see, if to retain water, you grow grass, trees, and across the flow you please flow, and then some what do you say, trenches, etc. We receive 100 centimeters of rain. That means 1 meter of rain on every inch of land in India. It's enough for 2 3 years actually. But no year it is enough for us because we are sending away some 90% of the rainwater to the sea. So this was the essence. Mr. Chandrababu Naidu was sitting like that. This I scripted a drama and it was played, a playlet, and he saw and laughed. Then somebody said, Mr. Tucker said, "CM is laughing, you are gone." So by evening again telephone came. Mr. Tucker was our rural development commissioner. Ramakant Reddy was our secretary. So CM is saying, you are very intelligent. You cannot be working in the district. You have to come to Hyderabad. Hardly 3 months back I escaped from the attack. The difficulty of being good, written by Gurucharan Das. So if any of you are too good, don't be. You can be good, but if you are too good, everybody will eye on you. So then again, then I said, sir, I don't want sir Hyderabad. I'll come anyhow. See, after 8 years, 9 years, when all of die, we'll also go. Similarly, junior officers, they have to work in the district first with the people. Then I was junior most then. When you come to Hyderabad, you will become the junior most. I was the senior most in the district. Somehow then CM himself came online. No, 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 no. Our people tell like that. You are the most creative fellow. Your services cannot be restricted to districts. You have to come to Hyderabad. We are creating employment generation mission. You have to be heading that. So like that again, second time also I could not escape. So similarly, so a lot of association with sir. And recently, in fact, when this book was released by Honorable Chief Minister, I was not there on that day. In fact, I thought, I missed one, so the function. Two, and he is a very enthralling and a great speaker. So it's that inspiration with which he gives. After, I think, sir, 20 years back he retired. Yeah. So I thought. Then suddenly today, Mr. Sekhar said, "Are you, sir? Are you free?" I said, when? Around 5:30, this is the meeting when you come. So I just came like that. And sorry for intruding. It is so happened that chief guest has not come. They asked me to occupy this. But some other time, definitely, many times. This is maybe 10th time here. Many times when I was commissioner. And I also, in 34 years of service, 40 posts I did. You may think a rolling stone gathers no mass. No. At one point of time, I was in charge of 9 posts, 10 posts. That is the reason why I was in charge for 40 posts. Not that like Ashok Kemka. And when 10th post was given, Raju Sharma and myself went to the chief minister's home and I pushed our chief secretary into the residence. He said, सर जनार्दन रेड्डी को थोड़ा बहुत ज्यादा होचन हो रहा है क्या? हाँ हो रहा है साहब. तो फिर after 7 months, 8 months, one post will be reduced. At least 10th post I avoided. So this is also additional charge today. I am the spectator, and it's, because additional charge is not new to me, but I can bear it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now it's the time to show our gratitude to the dignitaries on the dais. As a token of our appreciation, we would like to present a memento to our chief guest and our special guest. Request President of Request Dr. Suresh Kumar Singhal, President of FTCCI, and Mr. K. Chandrasekhar, President of HMA, to please felicitate our Chief Guest, Dr. Janardhan Reddy Garu, IAS retired, former GHMC Commissioner. I request Vice President of HMA, Mr. P. Rajendra Krishna Prasad, and Secretary of the HMA, Mr. A. Devendra Reddy, to please facilitate Mr. Gopal Krishna, IAS retired. Also request KK Maheshwari sir and also Secretary of FTCCI Veena ma'am to please join. Now we are moving on to the next session, Pat Chat with Mr. Gopal Krishna IAS retired. I request dignitaries onto the dais to please take the seat on the sofa. Jaya.
Yes, Mundari.
I request Mr. Srinivas Aidevara Managing Committee Member, past President of FTCCI, to please come on to the dais. I request Mr. A. Devendra Reddy, Secretary of HME, to please give introduction of Mr. Gopal Krishna, IAS retired.
Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Shubha Sandhya Vela. It's an indeed pleasure to introduce the legend who is sitting on the stage. Bhishma Pitamaha of Indian bureaucracy, we can say. The title of book itself says Karma Yogi, which is picked up from Sanskrit. We all know the meaning of Karma Yogi. A person who is working selflessly without anticipating any fruit outcome of that event. In the history of Indian bureaucracy, there are officers whose work is measured not just in policies and projects, but in the lasting impact they create. Often unseen, yet deeply felt. M. Goapala Krishna Garu, a dedicated IAS officer who served in Assam, Andhra Pradesh, and in different parts of Bharat, is true spirit of selfless service. Gopal Krishna Garu's story is a reminder that nation building is not limited to politicians and industrialists alone. It is driven by selfless individuals who dedicate their lives to cause greater than themselves. His work was not about headlines, but about long-term transformation, providing that true service to the nation often goes unnoticed, yet changes the fabric of the society. Though he remains an unsung hero, his legacy is etched in the villages he transformed, the young minds he inspired, and the governance stands he set. Life of Karma Yogi is an inspiring memory of Gopal Krishna Garu, who joined the civil services at the young age of 21 years. And drawing from his decades-long experience in administration, governance, and public services, the book provides a behind-the-scenes look at governance, policymaking, and the impact of ethical leadership in India. So, thanks for giving the opportunity to introduce the legend over here. And over to Shri Srinivas Ayyadevar Garu for the fireside. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Many must be wondering why I'm here. Many know me, many don't know me. Anyway, my name is Srinivas. I'm a past president of FTCCI and also the past president of Hyderabad Management Association. I'm here in my dual capacity. For some of you may be having doubts as to why I'm moderating this session. Let me assure them that I have read the book from page 1 to page last, which Mr. Gopala Krishna will vouch for. Because I had met him before we came to this. When I was asked to do this fireside chat, I readily agreed upon because it was Mr. Gopala Krishna Garu, who I have known for the last almost 26 to 27 years since he was in Hyderabad. Sir, after having discussed with you let me tell you something. If you go through the book, there are many incidences. Now it is 7. If I go through the total anecdotes of the book, it will be roughly about 11 o'clock in the night. So we have, he knows about it, and I've also discussed it with him, and we have shortened it to about 15 to 20 key questions about his personal life, about his professional life, about his life post-retirement. One of the questions which I wanted to ask him was, which Mr. Janardhan Reddy already asked him in the lobby when we were sitting outside, but for the benefit of others, I will repeat it. Sir, you are now 85 years old. You retired about 25 years back. So what made you write this book now at this age?
I did not have an idea of writing my book, but many friends came to me and said,
You may not be interested, but many people will be interested to know your life. And particularly, since you are quite aged, what it means is you can cover the growth of India over 3 generations. So what you do will be helpful so that people can relate to whatever you have done, and you come from a cantonment area. And a cantonment area before the Second World War was teeming with soldiers and preparations for the Second World War. So I was actually born around that time. And my father was working in Burma government as a senior forest officer. And my mother, when young, she married him and she had to go to Burma. So I remember very much, she used to always say, as a young bride of 17 years, I went all the way to Burma. And you are actually a grown up boy. You should be able to go anywhere you are posted. This happened when I was posted to Assam government. She said, as a young bride, I went to Burma, a totally different place, and you are going to some place within our own country. Why are you actually cribbing about it? So she was really my guru. My mother was my inspiration in my life. If I have done anything worthwhile, it is because of my mother. And she infused courage in me and to say, you are a man and I want my son to be a man. So this is how she actually enthused me. And I must say, I have been really influenced extremely by her.
Thank you, sir. In your formative years, you were influenced primarily by 4 people. 1, your grandfather, Dr. Govindraju. 2, your mother, Srimati Pravaramba. Your mother, Srimati Pravaramba. In fact, when I came to your house, I noticed that your house is named after her. You were influenced by her not only in your younger days, but also consulted her whenever you were transferred in Assam. The third person was your aunt, Mrs. Kantama, who was more like a foster mother to you. And fourth, not least, last but least, Mrs. Mother Teresa, who was headmistress of your school. What was her influence on you? Can you tell in brief?
Yeah. You see, my grandfather, Dr. Govindraju Naidu, was actually an army doctor. And when his father was seriously ill, he asked for leave from the army, and the army refused to grant him leave. So when the army refused to grant him leave, he resigned from the job and went to his father. His father was a great yogi, and he was a person who had gone into Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So what happened was, he asked his son and asked him to put his hands on his head. When he put his hands, his father's head was actually scorching and his hands were burnt. And he said, my life is going through my head and I want to give all my spiritual powers to you. So he bequeathed all his spiritual powers to his son. And the son thereafter, who was a very eminent doctor in our town, he started becoming something like a yogi in his life. And he also took a leader called Niranjana Swami. That Niranjana Swami initiated him into Samadhi. And after that, he actually became a person who was well known as a doctor in our town. Lot of Muslim women particularly would come to him and say, Peer Saab hai, Wali Saab hai. If he just touches, he will be all right. And that was his reputation. And he was, when I was a young boy of about 8 years, he said, you come with me, I'll take you to the collector's bungalow. I went to the collector's bungalow, and before that he taught me, you should not grab anything that is put on the table. You must wait for the signal from me. Otherwise, don't touch any food or anything that is kept on the table. I said yes and went. There I found he was an Englishman, and it was served on a tray, everything. Suddenly, you see, I was observing everything. Then, on my return journey, when we were coming back, he asked me, would you like to be a collector? I said, yes, certainly. I've seen a big bungalow. I've seen soldiers there. I think it will be a very nice thing if I become a collector. So that was the first time the thought of my appearing for IAS or anything came. There was also another reason. My maternal uncle, my mother's younger brother, I.J. Naidu, was Chief Secretary in the government of Andhra Pradesh. He was actually an army officer. When he was posted in Quetta, now in Pakistan, at that time, the partition took place. When the partition took place, a lot of British officers went. So a lot of army officers were recruited as war recruits to the IAS directly. So my uncle was one among them. So she used to tell me, "Are, మీ మేనమామ ఐఏఎస్ అయ్యాడు, వాడిని నేను చంకన పెట్టుకుని వాడిని వాడికి ఎంత తెలివి ఉందో నాకు బాగా తెలుసును, నా కొడుకేం తక్కువ కాదు, నువ్వు కూడా చేయగలవు" అని రిసీ హౌ ఎ మదర్స్ వే ఆఫ్ ఇన్ఫ్యూజింగ్ కరేజ్ ఇన్ యూ. సో దట్ యాక్చువల్లీ స్టార్టెడ్ మేకింగ్ మీ థింక్ ఐ మస్ట్ అపియర్ ఫర్ ది ఐఏఎస్. That is actually that mother. Then Mother Teresa. I went with my mother took me.
1 minute. He studied in a school called Watts Law. There are 21 students in it. He was the only boy, the rest were 20 girls. So you can imagine his name, Goapala Krishna.
So all were girls. I was the only boy who was made the prefect. And the teacher, she was actually an English lady. So she was very fond of me. And she said, "You must stand first in the class. You must," and she used to give me such a lot of homework. Every Saturday, we had 2 holidays, Saturday, Sunday. Saturday was gone only for homework. And then later on only Sunday was the only day left for me to do my swimming, to do my vyayam. I used to go to the Talim Khana, and then I used to do wrestling. All those things I used to do. So for me, it was a big relief I got Sunday to myself. Otherwise, Saturday was writing composition, writing précis, and then giving it back to the teacher. And she used to be a very strict teacher. And she taught me one very important thing. She said, "Do good, be good, become good." This is how she used to act. And this told me one very important thing. And I remember it even today. If you want to do well in life, you must do homework, you must put in hard work, you must have smart work, and you must actually do network. All these things she taught at a very, very young age of 10 years. I was taught all these things. Initially, I did not understand the meaning also of these things. But later on, because at home also, there was one mother always controlling me. There was one mother at home always controlling me. And the only time I would have when I go for games or sports or something. So I thought best thing is to learn swimming. So I was actually taught swimming. I became a good swimmer. And then I used to be very good swimmer. I used to be a good wrestler. I used to be actually a weightlifter. And I was in the Hanuman Vyayam Shala. I was 10 years president of the Hyderabad Kabaddi Association. I was president of the Wrestling Association. I was vice president of the Hanuman Vyayam Shala. So you can imagine that one side was the educational side, the other side physical side.
I have a submission here. Yeah. No. No. Mr. Shyam, these questions were discussed with him along with the answers. So please, I have done my homework.
No, 1 minute.
Yeah.
Since he said my wife is here, I want to tell one small thing. See, when I got married in Rajamandri,
So we'll come to that later. That question is later.
Right, okay.
Your aunt Kantama.
Right.
What was the influence of your foster mother, Mrs. Kantama?
My foster mother, my mother used to be very busy looking after her father, looking after mother who was not doing well, and looking after landed property and other things. So what was happening is my father's sister, her name is Kantama. She was actually my foster mother. My mother used to be so busy. My mother at home was really my foster mother, Kantama. And she used to look after me like her own son. And the way she would be very patient. Any guest who came to her house never returned without having a meal with us. So that is the way she actually brought us up. And she was very fond of the buffalo. She was very fond of the cow. And I think when she died, those poor animals would have felt much more than any one of us could have felt. Why I am saying it, that was her nature.
So for a long time you were brought up in joint families. Other than a brief stint where you were in Assam, coming back also you are always in joint families. What is your message about joint families, your experience and your present suggestion to the present generation where there is only a nuclear family with one or maximum two kids?
I think having been brought up in a large joint family, we had the benefit of knowing the nature of different people, uncles, aunts, everyone. Apart from all those things, very important thing I learned there is that Sahanam eva Sanskriti. That means tolerance is actually the best culture that you can think of. And there I learned that you should provide for the nature of different people in the house, and everyone had a role to perform. The elder people would actually give us some advice and tell us something, and at the same time running an errand or two. All these things helped me to grow as an individual, and I found that everyone has a place in a joint family. Everyone has done some job or the other. So I even today believe a joint family is always better than a nuclear family.
So you just told that you were very fond of physical activities, swimming, wrestling, etc. Not many people would know that you were also very naughty.
Yeah,
When you were naughty, you were also very bold.
yeah,
Once a policeman caught you,
yeah.
you didn't know how to get out of it. You directly went to the SP's house, knocked the door, and talked to the SP directly. Out of this emanates two things. One, did you go because your family was known in that area very well? Or were you bold enough by yourself to determine your character as what it is now?
See, it happened like this. My two cousin brothers were doing double riding, and also my younger brother also joined them. Triple riding they were doing. Whereas I was actually going on the cycle behind them after some time. And I found that all three boys had been arrested and kept in a police outpost. And they were waving from the outpost. I was coming after about 15-20 minutes on my cycle. So when I went there, and then the constable said these people were triple riding. So unless some senior person, some family member comes, they won't be released. I said, unless some person goes and tells them, how can it? No, he said, no. Then I thought, I had already been to the collector's office and I had no fear of police, SP, etc. So I went straight to the SP's bungalow, knocked on the door. He was an Englishman. So I told him I am so and so. I was a student of St. Anne's College and all those things. Then after that, I said, sir, three of my friends and colleagues and cousins, they have been arrested. Huh? Why were they arrested? He said, sir, triple riding, I believe. And then I said, only if you come, sir, they will be released. I said, all right, let us go. He called his wife, English lady. Both of them came along with me to the police outpost. In the outpost, the first question the SP asked him was, why did you desert the outpost when there are so many weapons in the outpost? You have done the worst mistake I can. So that means that fellow was put on the defensive. So once he was put on the defensive, he said, sir, please. Then he said, you immediately release these three people and the cycle also. So he released all of them and the cycle. So I became a hero at home. So everyone said he is bold enough to go and talk directly to the SP and get them released.
So after your schooling in Bellary, you did your intermediate in Mahbub College, Secunderabad, degree in Usmania campus. In those days, degree was in campus, unlike now where it is respective colleges. And also you did your law in a Union College at Abbots. Before, can you tell me in brief 2 or 3 incidents during these years which shaped your future? Before that, I'd also like to tell him that during these years in Hyderabad, when he was in law college, he entered an eating contest. And he won after eating 22 chapatis with curry.
Actually, what he said is correct. I was in the law college. I used to be feeling very hungry because I was staying alone after taking a room in Himayat Nagar. So I used to feel ravenously hungry in the evenings. So with this competition, I thought this is a time when I can do full justice. So let me do full justice. So I was able to do it very well. And let me tell you one very funny incident. I won the law college presidentship, and then at that time Orient Hotel in Abyss was a very important hotel, and very good biryani used to be given. 10 annas was a plate of biryani in those days. So I invited all my batchmates to come and have actually dinner there. At that time, Mr. Venkat Swami, who was our minister, government of India and here, Venkat Swami and Anjaya. Anjaya was very stout. Venkat Swami would drive a motorcycle. Anjaya would sit behind him, and both of them would come. And they came, and I used to know them earlier also, because Venkat Swami was from Secunderabad. I knew him. So what happened is, when they came, they found that I was hosting a biryani party for all my friends in the law college, because I had won the elections. Then Anjaya came to Yendaya, మీరే తింటారా బిర్యానీ మమ్మల్ని పిలవరా ఇదేంటిది అని he actually accosted me. And then వెంకటస్వామి said, మరి ఇద్దరు మేము ఇక్కడ ఉంటే మమ్మల్ని పిలవకుండా పిలుస్తా. అక్కడ మొగ్దూమ్ మొయినుద్దీన్, he was a communist leader, అతను కూడా అక్కడ కూర్చుని ఉన్నారన్న. మా ముగ్గురిని నువ్వు పిలవాలా అని అన్నాడు. మంచిదయ్యా, మీరు అందరూ రండి అని. So all three of them came. Later on, Anjaya was the chief minister. So when he was the chief minister, I was actually, I think, secretary industries. So I had some work with him. So I went there. He recognized me and he said, "Abo no vachinava?" And then he kaugulinchukunnadu. After hugging me, he asked me, "Why did you come? You want a posting as collector?" I was already secretary. He didn't know that. And, because they think collector job is very important. So he said, "Arey collector ya, nu cheppu ye jilla kavalante aa jilla kesta." You see, and he hugged me. And then, you see, Moinuddin was his secretary. It was very, very interesting, but it was very informal. In those days, we had very informal relations with the minister, because all of us were from the same place.
Sir, before being selected for IAS, you were selected as a probationary deputy collector in the then AP Public Service Commission. Yeah. Your first posting was in Guntur. After going through the book, I felt that you had more experiences in Guntur, which helped you later in your career. Can you tell briefly about your instances in Guntur?
I was really very happy. Let me also tell you one thing. I appeared for the state civil service because there was no restriction of you must be 21 years. I was only 20 at that time. So I appeared for that. Luckily, only 3 posts were announced. I stood number 1, Girglani was number 2, Bapu Reddy was number 3. We 3 were selected as deputy collectors in that year. And I was posted to actually Guntur. And that very, this thing, I went and joined on the 31st of December. And first I took over there, and I worked there for 1 year, which was the probationary period, and the training was very intensive, and the training was excellent, and I learned a lot of things in Guntur, because it's a very big district, and with different varieties of crops grown, different types of industries, and people were very smart, and at that time there was a lot of communist influence in that district, lot of communist influence. But it was actually my grounding in district administration.
When you were just completing your probation in Guntur, you were selected for IAS. You went to Mussoorie for your training.
Yeah.
That was in the year 62 when the Chinese war was on. So all the probationers like you were sent to Kashmir for military attachments and military training. Do you think that military training in Jammu and Kashmir helped you later in your administrative work?
See, army, I knew even as I was a small kid also, because Ballari was an army cantonment. And we had a DT in those days. Telugulo undedannamata adi తల్లి తండ్రి మాట వినక మిలిటరీ నందు చేరిపోతినే, నేను మిలిటరీ నందు చేరిపోతినే. పెద్ద పెద్ద బూట్సులు ఇస్తారు, బూట్సులు వేసుకొని పరిగెత్తమంటారు, కాలు జారి కింద పడితే వేపి తంటారు. ఎందుకయ్యా నువ్వు పోతున్నావు ఆర్మీకి అని అలాగా ఒక డిట్టి యూస్ టు బి దేర్ అనమాట. సో దేర్ ఫోర్ ఆర్మీ ఐ న్యూ వెల్, బట్ యాక్చువల్లీ వాట్ హ్యాపెన్ వాజ్ all IAS officers are given army training for 1 month. There we practice actually using a rifle, using a machine gun, using all those things, and we are also taught army tactics. And we are posted on the border, Jammu Kashmir border with Pakistan. I was posted in the Rajouri sector also. And then we also called on the southern Riyasat. At that time Karan Singh was there. And then we came back. At that time, 1962, December, the Chinese attacked Nepa and they came down to the foothills. So at that particular point of time, after they withdrew, they wanted some IAS officers. So 4 of us were selected and asked to actually go and see the war ravages done by the Chinese and then come and report and give a report. So that helped me to understand on the ground what happened and how our troops were massacred by the Chinese. So this was where I had a grounding in army tactics and other things. One of my uncles, Major Bashyam, was killed in the 1962 war. He was actually in the Sikh battalion. After that, we came back and we had some discussions, etc. And then we went on a Bharat Darshan.
So during the Bharat Darshan, you had the opportunity of meeting Jawaharlal Nehru, our Prime Minister. All the professionals were sitting in before Jawaharlal Nehru. Jawaharlal Nehru was giving discourse on some subject. Suddenly he asked you, what do you think of the situation? You answered that Rajputs are not brave. Nehru was aghast. What was your feelings at that point of time?
See, it happened like this. Nehru was saying, when the Rajput dons the saffron robes and goes out to war, nothing stops him, it's either death or victory. So this is what he was saying. Suddenly he looked at me, Nehru. All of us were seated on the ground. Then he asked, what do you say? I said, sir, the Rajputs were brave, but they always got defeated. In a war, we should not be defeated. When I said this, you see, my professors, everyone was aghast. And then Nehru was also nonplussed that I told him on his face that this is what it is. So then he said, sit down. He very harshly said. I thought after that harshness, my deputy director of the academy said, I say you have done the most foolish mistake. So I was thinking, my God, I will be probably hauled down by the academy. So luckily, everyone seems to have forgotten because in government, many things are forgotten. So I thought this was also forgotten.
So your first posting after you joined Assam cadre, which you were allotted to, was in the Goapala. You had to deal with various subjects like influx of refugees, setting up of Matya refugee camp, where you had to deal with almost thousands of refugees. Can you tell me what in terms of management principles that taught you? And also setting up the science schools in Matya.
See, I was posted as a young officer to Goapala subdivision. So Goapala subdivision, suddenly through Garo Hills from East Pakistan, lot of Hindu refugees had started streaming in because East Pakistan Rifles was actually trying to get rid of all the Hindu tribals, mostly Hajangs. So they all were coming through the Garo Hills. And it's small influx. It started with about 100 people a day coming. Then slowly it became thousands. And then government of Assam got worried. They asked me as SDO Goapala, you go to that place and then you check up and report to me what is likely to happen. The chief secretary directly asked me. So I went to that place and found that I asked some refugees and they said the influx is going to become more and more. So I immediately told the chief secretary, sir, it will be impossible to hold the camps in the hill areas. logistics will not permit us to send them rations. So I think you would have to be brought to the plains. So in the plains, he said, you bring them to the plains, you search the place, and you rehabilitate them. Government will take care of. So at one time, I had more than 110,000 refugees, and as a young boy of 24 or 25, I had to look after almost 100,000 of refugees. I had to organize everything from scratch and also build bhashas for them. And at that time, I realized, having been brought up in a joint family, I knew what it all meant. So food, I thought, was the most important thing. Rations, putting them something, children to be looked after, clothing, everything. So you can imagine, it was like looking after 25,000 families and seeing that no one goes astray. All these things, actually, I used to work almost 18 hours a day to ensure that things go on well. And luckily, they later on put them into different camps. And in the different camps, it was easier to handle them. At that time, what happened was, the Chinese aggression, the government of India also woke up. So they wanted to set up a Sainik school in Assam. So at that time, the present the present Secretary External Affairs, so his father was actually Subramaniam. He was actually the then Joint Secretary in the Defense Ministry. He actually came and wanted to set up a Sainik school. So I showed him a spot, and then we actually organized a Sainik school. And the Sainik school actually called me for their first parade and gave me their ceremonial sword, which is a prized possession of mine. So this is how that Sainik school was established. Then for all the refugees, I found an abandoned village grazing ground called Damar. And Damar, I actually established a refugee camp and then gave land to them and rehabilitated them. And some refugees, we sent them to Arunachal Pradesh.
So your second major posting was as Additional Commissioner and Deputy Commissioner of Mizo Hills District, Aizawl. By the time you were transferred, you were known by many names. Yeah. One was P.U. Naidu, one was M.G. Naidu, while some referred to as Machine Gun Naidu.
Yeah.
It was during a stint at Aizawl, you had to deal with the Mizo National Front, both on political and on humanitarian grounds, like the Motam famine and gun smuggling, etc. Yeah. Where you also had the opportunity of meeting General Manik Shah.
Yeah.
At the end of the tenure in this particular district, you said that it taught you, I quote, equanimity of mind when making decisions, that patience, empathy, and compassion can heal disturbed minds and calm palpitating hearts. Do you think that the same is true for in management today in reference to what your posting taught you?
Let me tell you, one of the most difficult assignments I handled was when I was posted in Mizo Hills district. I got a call from the DGP saying that there has been a rebellion by the Mizos in Mizo Hills district. They have cut off all lines of communication, all bridges on the roads have been cut off. The sub-divisional officer, my batchmate, R.V. Pillai, has been kidnapped and taken to East Pakistan. East Pakistan has been supplying arms. Nagas have been supplying arms to the Mizos, and it is in a very difficult position, and we have called the army. You may have to go along with the army to Mizo Hills to re-establish district administration there. So I marched with the army units. On the way, we had to actually repair all the bridges, make the road possible. So it was a very, very tough time. And we had actually to go through all these things and re-establish government there. And very young officers, IAS officers, were most of them bachelors, they were sent there. I was also a bachelor. So I was the ADM, Additional District Magistrate. I had the powers of a sessions judge. And I actually assessed the whole situation, managed to actually get back normalcy with a great deal of difficulty. And then I realized how difficult it was to work in a place like Mizo Hills. And at that time, I was enabled to do my job well because I had some loyal civil servants and we were able to restore law and order. Otherwise, it was a very, very difficult assignment. Any day you could be shot, any day some trouble would happen, and two times I almost lost my life. One was, one thunderbolt fell, and on a corrugated sheet, it went through my veranda. Luckily, the Dansing, who was my guard, that fellow's rifle was thrown off, it became blackened, and he fell down, and luckily no one was hurt. That was one incident. Another incident, when I was traveling on a jeep in Aizawl town, they fired on the jeep. Luckily, the bullet went in between us. 6 Jawans in the back seat, I was in the front seat along with the driver, but it pierced and went through. Luckily, we actually dismounted, and then we cordoned off that area, and we were able to actually catch them. There were actually many incidents where people lost their lives when the convoys had to be moved. So this was very, very difficult. In some areas we had to move, and it is full of leeches, full of swamp. So from heels up till here, we would tie straw and then cut, and so that leeches don't hurt you. So this is where, and I used to walk almost 14 miles a day, just going around touring and other things. It was one of the most difficult period, but I had the greatest satisfaction because I maintained good relations with the army. I was able to get a good intelligence network plan. I was able to get an AAR station, All India Radio station at Aizawl. I was able to resume the schools to function. I was able to get rations and give to every person. And at the same time, General Manekshaw himself came. And I was his host for one day, a day and night. He stayed with me. And he was very happy with the way we were organizing. Then he started relating how he had controlled the guerrilla menace in actually the Malaysian jungles. But then after that, he wrote me a nice letter also, thanking me and hoping that everything will. So for the first time he said, I'm happy as a young person, you have almost worked like a general of the army. So that is where he was my guest for one day actually.
Copy of that letter is there in the book, and please. Yeah. So next, you worked as DC of Sibsagar district.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into the administrative part of it because it is very long, and two things I want to talk to you about that. One, many people here would know or would not know, he's very good at writing in Telugu poetry. When he was in Assam, he wrote many poems in Telugu which were translated into Assamese, and the Assam
Sahitya
Sabha gave him an honorary membership, which is a very, very, very rare. Even till today, I've been given to understand that only 2 non-Assamese have been given, and he's one of them. So what is your, would you call it a moment of pride when you received that?
Yeah. That for me, definitely it was, I was the first Andhra officer to be posted into Assam. First Telugu officer. And more importantly is that I was given the Assam Sahitya Sabha award. And let me tell you, even when I was in college, I used to write. And one of them was published in the magazine called Sravanti. I'll just tell you, that was the day when the first Sputnik in 1957, when it is there, I wrote a poem which was highly publicized. Sputnikulu egirin nikkamuna taramandala vihagopa pantalalo viharistanu chukkala lekkale kaadu chukkala dokkalaloni marbalanu ne tejista Surya tejo asmini challarchutanu chandra sheetala shantini udrekistan ne manavunni ne vijayunni ne vijaya pipasunni. And when you are young, you see a lot of thoughts. Not only this type of thoughts, romantic thoughts, everything will come, no? That was how it happened, actually.
Now that you raised the topic of romance, you had interaction with a lot of politicians in Assam. 2 of them I would like to mention. One was Tarun Govai, who was then an MLA and subsequently became the Chief Minister of Assam, and his brother Tilak Govai, who once hosted a dinner for you.
Yeah.
In that dinner, Mr. Tilak Gogoi was looking for good Assam girls to get married to you.
You see?
One minute, well, let me complete. Assam girls would, if by chance you were also in a state of dilemma because one of your batchmates married a Assamese girl. Suppose you had married an Assamese girl and not Mrs. Sujata, you could have stuck to Assamese cadre and not come here, and we would have missed you. So, what are your thoughts on that of not marrying an Assamese girl?
See, Assamese girls are no doubt pretty, no doubt beautiful. But what was there is, I always used to think, I must not do anything without my mother's sanction. And I used to always think, my mother takes care of me. So it is her duty to find a bride for me. So I never actually thought, and I thought, because earlier another officer had married an Assamese girl in Jorhat. So I thought I should not get into that trap. So I actually quietly extricated myself from that. Whereas the chief minister and Tilak Gogoi, both of them were keen, and they asked young girls to serve us food there actually.
So that they could entice you. So after this, you got married to Mrs. Sujata. A point which you wrote in your book, that at your, what do you call, Peli Soopulu in Telugu, you say, they asked, as a matter of courtesy, would you like to speak something to the bride, to the would-be bride? I was given to understand that you started speaking, and your mother and aunt had to stop you.
No, I wanted to talk to her. First of all, I have seen her. I wanted to see, one, whether she's willing to come with me to Assam. And then I wanted to know whether she's a good cook. I wanted to know what other things she is doing. All these things, naturally, any boy will like to ask. So I wanted to ask. My mother said, stopped me and said, "Avani nenu maatladtanu." So I felt little hurt and cut because I was not allowed to freely speak to her. Then afterwards, actually, she said, "No, I have met her, I have talked to her, etc. I think she will be a good companion for you. And I know better your thing, so I think she will be suitable for you." And that ended the thing. Then what happened, their marriage, our marriage was fixed at Rajahmundry, in Rajahmundry. So, before the marriage, actually, from my side, my aunt, my mother's sister, she went and some ornaments to be given to her, and some basika we get from Srirangam, all those things. As gifts to the bride, she went and gave all of them. Along with that, she got a tray of chocolates, and so I asked my chocolates, why do you bring for the marriage this thing? Normally fruits they give this and that. Why? She said, no. The marriage will take place after some time. So every day, let the bride eat one chocolate and count how many days more for my marriage. So this is what my aunt told me. And then what happened? Her marriage. See,
your marriage.
My marriage. So in my marriage, what happened is, I was actually president of the Hyderabad Kabaddi Association, president of the Hyderabad Wrestling Association, and Weightlifters Association. So what happened? I just gave a letter requesting all of them to attend my marriage at Rajahmundry. In 4 buses, they hired 4 buses, and all of them was hefty, strong fellows. So all of them came. Then what happened was, all the food that they had made for all the guests, when they sat down, the servers were serving. So putting rice, putting this. No fellow would say stop. Normally in a marriage you say stop. But and any number of things they are saying, they never stopping. And then after that they realized, the cooks and the people realized this is not sufficient. Okay, after that is over, sweets had to be given. And normally, you give some laddu, some sweets like gulab jamun, all those things. Then what happened? That gulab jamun, except in one gulp they were taking it, and then they found that the sweets are also getting exhausted. And then normally, along with the girls, sare, they actually send, and for sare, usually the sweets are bigger size. So all the big exercise, and then my father-in-law decided, don't suffer. So he said, let all this Sara be brought out. So all the sweets, etc. Big size I have served to all my wrestler friends. So they were fully happy and this thing. Then again they had to make again the fresh Sara to be sent with me.
So you said that a wife halves the sorrow,
Yeah.
doubles the joy, and quadruples the expenses. What is Mrs. Sujata's influence on you when your mother was alive and after your mother was expired?
When my mother was there, my mother told her many things about my naughtiness, etc. And said how she should actually handle me when I'm angry, how she should have, all that she actually taught. And more than anything, because we were a joint family, so all the children, she raised all the children in our house actually. So she is expert in raising children, etc. And then we had traditionally the farmers who are our farmers in the village, వాళ్ళందరూ మా ఇంట్లో పనిచేసేవాళ్ళు అన్నమాట. So those people, 3 generations have been with me. All 3 generations we looked after, and the later generation, they have become actually officers, software engineers, etc. Because we used to educate them. So that is been a family tradition with us. So the loyalty between the village, our cantonment, and our staying has been continuous with us.
So you have worked in many posts in Assam.
Yeah.
For a moment, we thought that we'll drop that. Your first posting outside Assam was as regional steel controller in Hyderabad for almost a period of 5 years. What was your experience as a regional steel controller? Because in those days, steel was a controlled item and there was a lot of shortage in India.
So there used to be a big black market in steel. And what used to happen is some big companies, they would actually invent far more than necessary. Take this and then sell it in the open market, because the open market prices were at least 2 times, 3 times more. And big companies, I don't want to name them, very big companies, they are also actually holding and selling away like this. And 1 or 2 of them I caught, and then we actually filed some cases. And some MPs used to come to me and then say, try to release. I never, and always all the cases. And luckily, our cases also were won, and some I referred to the CBI also.
So after this, a major portion of your career, though you were in Nagarjuna Fertilizers, XYZ companies, a major portion of your career, in the whole IAS career, I would say, the longest stint being Godavari Fertilizers and Chemicals Limited. What lessons can you tell the managers today, especially that being one of the few first companies to introduce CSR and marketing concepts like why farmer and his wife on the what you call advertisement banners, and it also being the first company to come out with DAP in India, which was earlier being imported. Before he starts his thing, I would just like to tell you that the plant was commissioned well before time. Hyderabad Management Association in the year 1978 gave him the Manager of the Year award for successfully run the Godavari Fertilizers. Second, he is the only person whom I know, correct me if I'm wrong, he got Member of the Year award, Manager of the Year award, and also Lifetime Achievement Award from Hyderabad Management Association. One of very few personalities. So,
yeah. You see, let me tell you an actual incident. N.T. Ramarao, I was actually Commissioner of Commercial Taxes. For the first time in the country, I introduced value-added tax on liquor. And I was enjoying my work as a Commissioner of Commercial Taxes. Suddenly one day, N.T. Ramarao, Chief Minister, called me. Said, Gopal Krishna garu, T.L. Shankar was my boss. T.L. Shankar garu chepparu, nuvaitene aa Godavari Fertilizers gaani, Nagarjuna Fertilizers gaani, మోక్షం దొరుకుతుంది వాటికి, సో నువ్వు తప్పకుండా వచ్చి జాయిన్ అవ్వాలని. I thought, my God, I'm quite happy as Commissioner of Commercial Taxes. Now he wants me to put. I said, sir, 3 రోజులు టైం ఇవ్వండి, నేను కలిసిన తర్వాత వచ్చి మాట్లాడతాను. దెన్ ఐ వెంట్ అండ్ టోల్డ్ మై మదర్, అమ్మా చీఫ్ మినిస్టర్ నన్ను పిలిచారు, ఇట్లా అడిగారు, నాకేమో అక్కడ జాయిన్ అవ్వడం ఇష్టం లేదు, నువ్వేమంటావు అని అడిగాను అన్నమాట. మా అమ్మ వచ్చింది, కూర్చో బాబు అని. కూర్చున్న తర్వాత, కమిషనర్ ఆఫ్ కమర్షియల్ ట్యాక్సెస్ పెద్ద ఉద్యోగమే, మీకంటే ముందు ఎంతో మంది ఉండుంటారు కదా, ఉన్నారు, మీ తర్వాత కూడా ఉంటారు కదా, ఉంటారు, మరి దాంట్లో ఏం పెద్ద గొప్పతనం నీది, ఇది చూడు, ఆయన చీఫ్ మినిస్టర్ స్వయంగా నిన్ను పిలిచాడు, రైతులకు మంచి ఎరువులు దొరకటం లేదు, నువ్వు పెట్టినట్లయితే మొట్టమొదటి ఎరువు ఫ్యాక్టరీ నువ్వు కట్టిన వాడవైతావు, ఎంతో మంది రైతులకు అందించిన వాడవైతావు, ఎంతో మందికి ఉద్యోగాలు ఇచ్చిన వాడవైతావు, నన్ను అడిగితే ఆ పనికిరాని కమిషనర్ ఆఫ్ కమర్షియల్ ట్యాక్సెస్ ఉద్యోగానికంటే ఇది చాలా గొప్పదని అనుకుంటున్నాను, మరి నువ్వు ఆలోచించండి. ఒక్క నిమిషం నేను ఆలోచించాను. నేను ఇంత చదివాను, నాకు ఇంత జ్ఞానం ఉందని అనుకుంటున్నాను, కానీ మా అమ్మకున్నంత జ్ఞానం నాకు లేదు. మా అమ్మ తన గురించి ఆలోచించలేదు, తన కొడుకు శ్రేయస్సు గురించి ఆలోచించలేదు, ప్రజల శ్రేయస్సు గురించి ఆలోచించింది. అండ్ షీ సెడ్, మై సన్ కెన్ డూ ఎనీథింగ్, బట్ ది పబ్లిక్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఈజ్ మోర్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ దెన్ మై సన్స్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్. అండ్ దాట్ యాక్చువల్లీ మేడ్ మీ ఫీల్ ఆమె సెల్ఫ్లెస్, ఎంత గొప్ప మనిషి, నేను ఎంత పనికిరాని వాడు అని నాకు అప్పుడు మొట్టమొదటిసారి అనిపించింది. ఏమిటంటే ఆ అమ్మకు నేను నమస్కారము, ఎందుకంటే షీ యాక్చువల్లీ పుట్ ది కరెక్ట్ ఐడియాస్ ఇన్ మై మైండ్ అండ్ వాజ్ విల్లింగ్ టు సాక్రిఫైస్ హర్ సన్ బికాస్ ది పబ్లిక్ సర్వీస్ నీడెడ్ ఇట్. సో ఐ థాట్ అమ్మ అంటే అలా ఉండాలన్నమాట. సో దాట్ ఈజ్ వాట్ యాక్చువల్లీ మేడ్ మీ ఫీల్ ప్రౌడ్ ఆఫ్ మై మదర్ అన్నమాట. అంటే తన శ్రేయస్ గురించి ఆలోచించలేదు, ప్రజల శ్రేయస్ గురించి ఆలోచించున్నాను. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ వేర్ నేను ఎప్పుడు కూడా అది చెప్తుంటాను అన్నమాట, ఇది అని.
I just like to tell this particular Godavari fertilizers was 6 months to 7 months ahead of the schedule. Mr. N.T. Ramarao, the Chief Minister, came to inaugurate that, and on completion of the speech, he said he was bestowing a new title of the MD on Godavari fertilizers, Mr. Goapala Krishna. Godavari Karmagara Vishwakarma, Rupakalpana Shri Godavari Goapala Krishna, Mana Siddha Hastam. This is the title bestowed by N.T. Ramarao on.
అదైన తర్వాత అండి, అదైన తర్వాత దాన్ని అందరూ కూడా మా డీలర్సే కాకుండా ఆ గోదావరి జిల్లాల్లో కూడా నన్ను ఎప్పుడు కూడా అక్కడ గోదావరి గోపాలకృష్ణ అంటారు, ఎం గోపాలకృష్ణ కాదనమాట. సో ఐ గాట్ ఎ న్యూ నేమ్ అనమాట, గోదావరి గోపాలకృష్ణ. అంతకుముందు ఎం గోపాలకృష్ణ. అక్కడ ఉన్నప్పుడు మిజో హిల్స్ లో మిషన్ గన్ నాయుడు అనేవారు. అంటే ఒక్కొక్క చోట ఒక్కొక్క పేరు వచ్చిందనమాట.
So when this Godavari fertilizer was being incorporated and you were doing the work, two religious things you did. First, when you started the project, you made a pledge for yourself that the first bag which would come out of DAP, you will place before the feet of Lord Venkateshwara. And two, while going on this whole theme, when you were having doubts about the Godavari progress or otherwise at some point of time, you were asked to go and meet the Pitadipati of Kanchi, the Pedda Paramacharya and those. Do you think that religion helped you, this beliefs helped you in doing this?
I believe in God. I believe in God's grace. When I was at Tirupati, I went to meet the chairman of IFCO, was having a board meeting thing, because at that time we did not have a partner for Godavari fertilizer. So when I went there, Srinivasa Reddy was the chairman of IFCO. Now, board meeting was going on. I came there and was waiting outside with a letter from Bagareddy, our industries minister, to request IFCO to join us as a co-promoter. I gave a small slip and a write of paper, and then that paper was given, but I was not called. 2 hours I waited till the board meeting was over. After the board meeting was over, Srinivasa Reddy, the chairman, called me in. I gave him the letter from Mr. Bagareddy. Then he felt very sorry. Said, చాలా తప్పైపోయిందండి, పొరపాటు అయిపోయింది, నన్ను క్షమించాలా, మీరు ఐఏఎస్ ఆఫీసర్ అని నాకు తెలియదు, ఆ ప్యూన్ కూడా నాకు ఇవ్వలేదు, మిమ్మల్ని బయటకు నిలిపెట్టిన చాలా బాధగా ఉందన్న, అదేం పర్వాలేదు సార్ అని చెప్పాను. చెప్పిన తర్వాత వాళ్ళ ఎండి ఉన్నారు అప్పుడు, తల్వార్ అని, ఆ తల్వార్ని వచ్చి ఈయనతో మాట్లాడండి, ఏం మనం సాయం చేయవచ్చును, మనం జాయిన్ అవ్వచ్చునా లేదా అని. సో ఆయన తల్వార్ వచ్చినప్పుడు ఆయన ఏమన్నాడంటే, నేను వెస్ట్ పాకిస్తాన్ మనిషినండి, మా తాత ముత్తాతలంతా కూడా ఫ్రీడమ్ ఫైటర్స్, కానీ మాకు ఒక చిన్న మనవి ఉంది, ఏమిటంటే ఇంత దూరం ఢిల్లీ నుంచి మేము తిరుపతికి వచ్చాము, ఎందుకంటే తిరుపతి ఆయన్నే మాకు ప్రెసిడెంట్ కనుక మేము ఇక్కడికి వచ్చాము. మరి మాకు వెంకటేశ్వర స్వామి ఆలయంలో కొద్దిగా మాకు ప్రార్థన చేసుకోవడానికి సమయం ఇప్పిస్తారా అని అడిగారు అనమాట. పూజ చేయాలి మేము. లక్కీలీ అక్కడ పివిఆర్కే ప్రసాద్ ఉన్నాడు. నేను ప్రసాద్ ఇట్లా ఉందయ్యా అంటే, మీరు ఎందుకు వదిలేండి సార్, నేను చేస్తాను కదా అని యాక్చువల్లీ వాళ్ళు పెద్ద హంగామా చేసి అందరి గుడి లోపలంతా తిప్పి మళ్ళా కళ్యాణ మండపంలో తీసుకెళ్ళి వాళ్లకు లడ్డు ప్రసాదం అంతా ఇచ్చారు. ఇచ్చేటప్పటికి వాళ్ళు డౌన్ అయిపోయారు అనమాట. తర్వాత మేము తప్పకుండా చేస్తాను, నేను ఇంకొక ఆయన సెబాస్టియన్ అని ఉన్నాడు కాండ్లాలో, ఆయన్ని పంపిస్తాను, ఆయనతో మీరు మాట్లాడండి అన్నట్టు మంచిదని. అది అయిన తర్వాత నేనేమనుకున్నా అంటే మనసులో, అయ్యా వెంకటేశ్వర స్వామి వీళ్ళని ఎట్లాగైనా ఒప్పించు, వాళ్ళు నిన్ను ప్రార్థించారు, నీ భక్తులు, నువ్వు చెప్పిన మాట వింటారు, తప్పకుండా వాళ్ళని జాయిన్ అవ్వమని చెప్పు అని నేను వెంకటేశ్వర స్వామికి మొక్కుకున్నాను. మొక్కుకుని ఏమన్నానంటే, మొట్టమొదటి బ్యాగ్ ఆఫ్ డిఏపి మేము ప్రొడ్యూస్ చేస్తే మీ పాదాల ముందు వచ్చి తీసి పెడతాను. అలాగే మా ప్రొడక్షన్ వెళ్ళిన తర్వాత అక్కడ ఒక బ్యాగు, మనది అన్నవరంలో ఒకటి, ఈ 2 ప్లేసెస్లో మా బ్యాగ్స్ అక్కడ ఇచ్చామన్న. ఫస్ట్ బ్యాగ్ ప్రొడ్యూస్డ్ ఫ్రమ్ దేర్, వీ యాక్చువల్లీ గేవ్ అట్ ది ఫీట్ ఆఫ్ ది లార్డ్. అదే
Post retirement, you have taken up many assignments. After reading your book, there were many assignments, but I feel that one of the most important things what you did was being the chairman of APSFC, where you had a series of managing directors like J.C. Mohanty, Kallam, etc. In the book, before I ask you the right question, I would also like to inform the members here that he appointed an audit committee for APSFC, in which all the 3 members of that audit committee are present here. Mr. S.R. Koteshwar Rao, Mr. Harishchandra Prasad, and Mr. Shyam Mohan. All 3 were the audit committee members of APSFC. They are present here. I'd also like to mention that when he took over, 13.7 crores was the loss which APSFC was incurring. When he left 2 years, 8 months later, the profit was about 14.5 crores. He wrote that this was one of his wonderful assignments. So what is your take on your managing chairmanship of APSFC post-retirement?
See, I realized one thing, that if the employees are highly motivated and if the task is something which everyone feels he is involved in it, I think any job can be done. And more importantly, I used to give full freedom to anyone to come and talk to me. I was as chairman, I used to welcome everyone. If a person is having a complaint against the SFC, let him come and talk to me. Like that, everyone was provided easy access to the chairman. So I used to get feedback very well about what is happening all through. And let me tell you one thing. So one of my very excellent assignment, where a thing which was given up for lost and where they wanted to close down the organization, that organization was actually not only revived, it became the best organization, and ever since it has been profitable.
Thank you, sir. I'm just at the fag end of my question and answer session. But during your career in college days, you were president of Hyderabad Weightlifters Association, you were president of Hyderabad Bodybuilders Association, you were vice president of Hyderabad Cricket Association. You did a lot of student political activity. Then you went into IAS, you came back. What did you contest for MLC?
You see, lot of my friends, they said, why don't you contest for MLC? Person like you, since you are a retired person, you have a lot of experience, and MLC means House of the Elders. So it's a House of the Elders, why don't? And then I thought, at that time, the most backward district was Mahabubnagar. So I thought, let me do whatever I can do in Mahbub Nagar. And I had very good contacts in Hyderabad. And most of the graduates knew me, and I used to give lectures in so many places. So in Hyderabad, I got the maximum number of votes. But in Mahbub Nagar, everywhere I went, people asked for money. They said, sir, I am from Teachers Association. If you give me 10 lakhs, I will give this many votes. Another one would come and say, give me 25 lakhs, sir, I will give you so many votes. So I found for the first time openly teachers associations coming and asking money for actually transfer of votes. So I thought, I refused to do anything of that sort. So I said, let me get as many votes. I got quite a few votes even from Mahbub Nagar, but the Hyderabad I got maximum number of votes. But overall, I was number 3 in the election actually, so I lost it. One was the Bharatiya Janata Party, and then one other professor. This was how it was.
Do you regret the decision?
Hmm?
Do you regret the decision?
No, I don't regret it, because I thought it has given me a new experience. I never knew, and now I knew that elections, they are not fair, and everything goes by money. Election also goes by money. Till that time, I thought people would vote according to the competence or things like. I knew that competence was not at all a consideration.
So in your career, you have worked with many IAS officers, Mr. Santanam, Mr. Shankar, Mr. Kidwai, Mr. V.P. Ramarao, Mr. B.V. Ramarao, you name it, you have worked with it. Who among them is one IAS officer whom you admire?
I admire 2 IAS officers. One is Mr. Kidwai. He was 12 years the Chief Secretary of Assam. And he was one person who used to look after every officer like his own child. I was under great tension in Mizo Hills. And one day, I got a terse message, wireless message saying, report immediately to the Chief Secretary, helicopter being sent. I thought he didn't tell me the subject, he didn't tell me anything. So I thought, I don't know what is going to happen, have I done something wrong? Like that I was thinking. Anyway, I put on my best available suit and then went to Shillong by helicopter. Then I went to the office, knocked on the door, and Chief Secretary. Normally he used to say, come on boy, that is how he normally would say. But when I went, he was very serious. Come in, he said. I thought maybe I'm going to get something. So when he said, sit down. I was feeling this fellow is very angry. That is why this thing is happening. I just waited once more. Sit down, he said. Then I sat down. When I sat down, he looked at me seriously. Are you Jekyll or are you Hyde? I was surprised because Jekyll and Hyde is a thing. Jekyll is a good person. Hyde is a very bad person. So he said Jekyll and Hyde. I said, what is happening? Has he gone off his head bonkers? So then sat down, and from the drawer he brought out a note. The note was written by my commissioner. The commissioner did not know that Gopal Krishna Naidu is one person. He thought Naidu is one and Gopal Krishna is another. So what he did is, he said, I have told the district, Mr. Gopal Krishna, additional deputy commissioner and now he's an excellent officer. We can retain him. He has handled the tribal issues very well. Naidu is a very tough fellow. He does not know the tribal mind. I think he doesn't require to be kept here. He should be transferred. That was the note. Then he called me. Look here, you have created a problem for me. How can I do this thing? I say, you are both Gopal Krishna and Naidu. So you see what happened? All right, I am sorting it out. Nothing will happen. A lot of files are there where whatever orders you want from the secretariat, you sit down with the department. I thought 2 days rest and recreation is required for you. So you come to the club today. And then he took me to the club. We had some refreshment. Next day he said, I invite you to my house. I went to his house, Mrs. Kidwai and their son and daughter. They actually gave us some tea or something like that. So why I thought is, there are certain incidents which you can never forget. And my Kidwai was an excellent officer, excellent officer. Another officer whom I admire and who was my guru in the administration was Mr. T.L. Shankar. T.L. Shankar is one of the rare breed of bureaucrats who can manage the politicians well, who can manage the bureaucrats well, and who is far-seeing. That person is actually T.L. Shankar. I learnt a lot from T.L. Shankar, particularly about energy matters, fuel policy committee. He was the chairman, and I wrote the report under his guidance, and that actually made me some sort of an expert in energy issues.
So similarly, you worked with many politicians in Assam and in Andhra Pradesh, combined Andhra Pradesh. You worked with Mr. Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad, who later on became the President of India. You worked with Mr. D.K. Barwa, who gave the concept of India is Indira and Indira is India. You worked with Mr. Jalgam Vengal Rao, you worked with Mr. N.T. Rama Rao, Mr. Chenna Reddy. Which among these politicians do you consider number one, in your opinion?
Purely from the point of view of an administrative viewpoint, I would any day say Jalgam Vengal Rao was the best chief minister. Purely from the administrative point. If you look at it from getting a job done, Chenna Reddy. He was very good at getting a job done, Chenna Reddy. And he was a man of strong likes and strong dislikes. But if you trusted a man, he went all out for him. Second important person whom I worked with, N.T. Rama Rao. He was also very good, but then there was a cinematic flourish about him. You see, all of that may not be correct, but he had a cinematic flourish about. Chandrababu Naidu was very calculating and very calm, knew what he is doing. That is Chandrababu Naidu. Jalgam Vengal Rao was very, very nice. And then in Assam, we had Mr.
Chalia.
He was an excellent man. And he was a man totally trusted me. And then and a very young officer, and he used to trust me over and above the commissioners and everyone. And I liked him very much. Their Assam chief ministers, my relationship was excellent actually. So I have dealt with probably a dozen chief ministers, but I had no issue with any one of them.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are many more such vignettes in his book. I request that you buy the book, who are not already done so, and go through each of them. I would also like to bring to the notice of the President of FTCCI that one whole chapter has been devoted to FTCCI in this book. Then I also like to mention that 11 times FTCCI has been mentioned in his book, 11 different places. And he has mentioned Hyderabad Management Association at least at 8 places. So that shows his love for both FTCCI as well as Hyderabad Management Association. So my last question, which in fact Shekhar Agarwal prompted me, egged me to ask, what is your message for this generation? Do you think that there is any future for this generation?
See, my message to everyone, and particularly young aspirants to the services, particularly people appearing for the IAS, I coach them for interviews. People who have failed thrice in an interview, they would come to me and I would train them and they would somehow get in to the service. The reason is that I used to be also on the UPSC board for selection of IAS officer. So I had practical experience, and apart from them, I read a lot actually. Because I read a lot, I am up to date on current affairs. So I used to ask them questions and train them nicely the way in which they should answer. Usually I would follow a simple method. The same answer, I will ask him to tell me in 3 different ways. So when he does in 3 different ways, he himself realizes which is the correct answer, the correct way of actually thinking. And second thing, I have actually in the book mentioned, IAS officers have given 10 points which they should actually keep in mind. But one thing which I always remember is that I have believed in this principle. Beginning, I used to think, can I do? Then cheyagalana? క్వశ్చన్ మార్క్ అని నేను చేయగలనా కాకుండా నేను చేయగలను. కెన్ ఐ డూ, ఇట్ మస్ట్ బికమ్ ఐ క్యాన్ డూ. That's more powerful, more positive. So the one thing I would like people to remember is never say I cannot do. I can do. And all IAS officers, I tell them, never say very difficult or other. Whatever is there, you can actually deliver. Now Janardhan Reddy is here. You see, everyone said it's difficult assignment, but he went there, he made a success of the assignment. So what, that spirit must be there in every IAS officer, that I can do. నేను చేయగలను, నాకు ఆ సామర్థ్యం ఉన్నది. దట్ ఈస్ వెరీ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఫర్ యంగ్ పీపుల్, అండ్ దే మస్ట్ ఫీల్ I can do anything I want to do. That feeling is extremely important. So always please try to actually look at things positively. Look at things that I can do. 3 powerful words I have always believed in. And apart from this, I have always believed in that people cannot do well without actually doing. And lastly, I will end by this shloka. This is Yadeva Vidyaya Karoti, that which is done with full technical knowledge, know-how. Yadeva Vidyaya Karoti Shraddhaya, faith in yourself, dedication and devotion to it. Yadeva Vidyaya Karoti Shraddhaya, Upanishada, take into account near internal and external. Upanishada, Sadeva, that Viryavattaram Bhavati. Viryavattaram means Viryavat means excellent. Viryavattaram Bhavati means it exceeds excellence if you follow this simple method. And that is what I think people should learn from our ancient wisdom and ancient knowledge. And why I told Karma Yogi is that everyone must do his or her duty. Karma is actually something which you have born to do, and that is something which you cannot say no. So karma is what is very important, and Karma Yogi means be dispassionate in whatever you are doing and be always full of hope and vigor. This is my advice.
Thank you, sir. I will bring a file. Yeah, please, just please. This is a fire chat company. Thing is over. I have been given to understand that there will be no question and answer sessions. Anything you want to ask him, you can ask him outside once he goes. And please don't, you can do no questions, you can present it. Please come and present it. No questions, please. And Mr. Questions only, he wants to give it. He wants to give a call. And if the photograph is not good, photograph will not give so.
Thank you.
Sir, you are. Sir, please not speak. Please. Yes, to leave. That will do in the later stage.
Right.
మీరు ఉండండి మీ పేరు ఉండాలి. సార్ మీరు 35 ఏళ్ళ కింద రోటరీ కాన్ఫరెన్స్
వచ్చాను మీ రోటరీ కాన్ఫరెన్స్.
I have invited all top speakers in India and I invited only yourself from Andhra Pradesh when you were CMD of Goapala critical days.
Thank you.
I request participants, please stay back.
Just 5 minutes, please. Yeah, please.
So, friends, I feel very, very happy that real Karmavir, it is the Gita which says the real Karmavir Lord Krishna, and he has defined Karmavir Bano, which sir has demonstrated. Sir, I know you for the last 40 years. I was GM with Rashi Cement, and I am one of your admirers, and I am happy you have accepted it. And Srinivas sir, this is the Gita book which says the Karmavir Bano. So this is a message from sir. Karmavir Bano, which sir you have demonstrated. I am extremely grateful you have accepted it.
Thank you.
Sir, we have a small felicitation to the moderator.
Janardhan Reddy garu, you said, I am retired but not tired. I am 81 years younger and I am not tired. I want to present you Karmavir book. So if you can kindly accept it here. That you are a great inspirer. So So this Gita book is a real Karma Veer book. So it says that we are never tired. As Janardhan Swami said, thank you very much. I want to start there. I will be really grateful. And lastly, Srinivas Garu, that wonderful, he has done a work. So I compliment him. This is a life-changing book from Sri Ramchandra Mission. I put this book. It is the life. Thank you, sir. And
4 hours away from my house.
oh, great.
Thank you, sir. It was a great session. A big round of applause to the dignitaries of the dais. I request.
It calls for lively and interesting learning system. It calls for a standing ovation.
Yes, please. I request K.K. Maheshwari, Vice President of FTCCI, to please propose vote of thanks.
Good evening, everybody. I just require 5 minutes of yours. Yeah, can you please sit down? Yeah, respected dignitaries, Honorable D. Janardhan Reddy, retired IAS and former GHMC Chairman, Shri M. Gopal Krishna, IAS retired, Shri K. Chandrasekhar, President HMA, Shri Srinivas Ayadevra Garu, past President FTCCI, and moderator of the Fire Chat, and my dear friends. I think probably it was a wonderful program. This kind of programs we require to have many more. And I'm sure each one who have attended this program enjoyed listening to the experiences. It is indeed a great honor and privilege to extend the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. We have had an engaging and thought-provoking fireside chat with Shri M. Gopal Krishna Garu, gaining invaluable insights from his inspiring autography, Life of Karma Yogi, Memoir of a Civil Servant. I'm told already 3 books have been released by him, and 3 books are in pipeline, and all on management. On behalf of FTCCI, I express my deepest gratitude to our esteemed chief guest, Mr. Dr. Janardhan Reddy, IAS, former GHMC Commissioner, for taking the time to grace this event with his presence and sharing his words of encouragement. Sir, your insight, unwavering support to such intellectual endeavor are truly appreciated. So you just spoke for 2 minutes, but it was wonderful, sir. We would like to hear you again and again, and for you to share your experience with all of us. A heartfelt thanks to our special guest, Shri M. Gopal Krishna Garu, for engaging us in such an insightful and enriching discussion. Sir, your journey and experiences serve as a beacon of inspiration, and we are privileged to have had the opportunity to hear firsthand about your remarkable career and philosophies. I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to Shri Srinivas Ayadevra Garu. I think you went through the book any number of times and were thorough with it when you were asking so many questions, for skillfully moderating this conversation and drawing out profound reflections from our esteemed guest. Thank you very much, sir. Our gratitude also goes to Shri Chandrasekhar, President HMA, for his presence and continued collaboration in fostering knowledge-sharing initiatives. We would like to have many, many more sessions with you, sir. A special thanks to our Senior Vice President of FTCCI, the Vice President of HMA, immediate past president, managing committee members, and past presidents of FTCCI and HMA for their unwavering support in making this event a success. I also extend my sincere thanks to our esteemed members, distinguished guests, media representative for being here today. Your presence and active participation has added great value to our initiative. Firstly, I would like to acknowledge and appreciate the entire team at FTCCI who worked tirelessly behind the scene to ensure the smooth execution of this event. With this, we conclude the evening, carrying with us the valuable lessons shared today. Let us continue to engage in meaningful dialogues and strive towards excellence in governance and leadership. Thank you all once again and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. 2 minutes. We request 2 minutes time of all the participants here. Here is a feedback form with QR code which is displayed on the screen. Request you to please scan and give your feedback. It will be really very much added to our next further events and improvise much more and do a smooth functioning of the FTCCI. Request everyone to please scan and share your feedback.